big data has actually facilitated, the logistics domain in a very big way, mainly in terms of information. Earlier the challenges used to be, the lack of information, in terms of the end customer. And now is the time when we look at designing the entire logistics solution, keeping it customer-centric. So it's facilitated in a big way that you get to know of what your customers' requirements are in terms of lead times, in terms of the quality which is being maintained, or which also needs to be maintained throughout the distribution of that particular product. Again, depending on products to products, it gets very, very dynamic. For example, speaking of medicines or the pharmaceutical products is a separate set of challenges altogether. But again, it's got a lot to do with data in terms of the consumptions, in terms of the regional consumptions, and this also gives organizations a perspective as to in terms of the quantities and distribution perspectives as to how do we move forward and put a proper solution in place so that the end customer requirements are met. Now, in case of medical equipments and medical products, the business gets even more serious because it's got to do with lives. Yes, speaking of US in particular, it's got a lot to do with compliance. It's got a lot to do with security aspects to it. So any business design which revolves around the compliance perspectives being fulfilled in absolute totality is something which is the need of the hour. Also is a big expectation coming out of the US market. So if the logistics service providers or the warehouse operators are in sync with the requirements, I think that is something which is required, and a lot of companies are complied with it. When it comes to the information security, when it comes to the premise security, which is also part of the CTPAT requirements, of the Customs Border Control at the United States. So it's primarily more of a regulatory, is what I can see when it comes to importing of products.